Sphaerocarpa. It's a weird plant. It really is. It's just weird. Got this plant in just a little while ago, and I have to be honest with you guys, there's some intrigue. We're not 100% sure if this is the large, medium, tiny, red, green. I don't really know. Some things going on with this plant indicate that it may or may not be the mini red version. But I'm not 100% because, once again, I've got a plant in that has very little information. A while back, I was digging around on Etsy, and if you guys will notice, I did post some videos about that on YouTube, of all places, right? Now, I posted some videos about ordering some plants in, and while I was on there, I was looking through, I believe, aquarium plants, something, 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 something. I don't know. Somebody was selling plants on Etsy, and I was pretty happy with the plants. Now, one of the plants that was on there was Ludwigia Sphaerocarpa, which was priced extraordinarily high. I think it was like $25 for one sprout or something like that. I think it was one rooted stem, or maybe it was two rooted stems or something like that. But as I recall, it was fairly expensive, especially for what I would normally say a Ludwigia. I'm like, okay. But I decided to kind of bite the bullet because I was already ordering stuff. I was getting free shipping. It seemed like, you know what, let me try this pretty rare little plant here. And I got one little stem of it and have been babying this thing ever since. I've managed to turn it into 6 tiny sprigs now, and here's me kind of doing some trimming and relocating. I have to admit, training this plant, if you guys understand what training is that you want it to grow in a direction that looks the best if you're facing the tank from the front. It has been virtually impossible. It kind of grows with a mind of its own. It's really just going to grow that way. It's going to grow this way. It's going to face the back. I'm going to turn it around, and for some reason it'll face the back or the side or something. So it's been a little bit of a struggle with this plant so far. I'm barely at the point where I could say I've propagated it, because I do have technically more stems than I began with, but it has been much longer period of time than I thought. Now, the product images from the Etsy seller that I got these from it looked pretty apparent that this was going to be the green standard size version, which the image looks like, wow, it's going to grow up and be about the size of someone's hand, a human's hand. Kind of wondering now if maybe he used like a tiny mannequin hand or something, you know, like a tiny hand that we've seen on TV a lot over the last couple of years. Either way, it looked like, wow, it's going to be about the size of a hand. After months of growing this plant, it's only about this big. You know, it's growing quite small. Some of the people on Discord, we've had a conversation back and forth in regards to whether or not this is the mini varietal that has been going around. I know Tom Barr had posted up on Facebook recently. He had posted something up that there's a mini varietal and a red and a green. Now, I was expecting to get the big green one that would have grown really fast, and I probably would have propagated it and had a lot of it by this point in time. Now, I don't have a lot of it by this point in time, but I am going to continue babying this plant to potentially grow more. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best. This seems to be a rare enough plant that I want to just continue to propagate it. You know, I've spoken at length many times that one of the biggest societal benefits of aquarium keepers, or whatever you want to call us, to gardeners, aquatic gardeners, aquascapers, whatever you want to call us, you know, between the fish and shrimp and plant varietals that we are propagating and getting out there so that people can learn more about them, and also stopping things from going extinct, is just invaluable in my opinion. I just don't think that there's enough conservation in this method going on in the world. I really do hope to see this hobby continue to grow. I try to do my best to be one of the ambassadors of, dude, growing plants in a box underwater in your, well, in my garage is how I do it, but most people do it like in their living room or something, is awesome, and it's something that everybody should be doing, in my opinion. It's, I think it's a high value return hobby, especially once you get things going, and you can, nowadays with the internet, you can trade, sell plants and shrimp and fish and stuff like that, that I really think it's worthwhile to keep this hobby going and stuff like that. So I'm doing my best with this plant to hopefully get it in there, and maybe somebody, maybe I can get it in the hands of somebody who could propagate it like crazy. My plans for the future, I'm going to continue propagating this stem underwater. That's what I'm going to keep doing. Eventually, once I get enough of this plant, I will probably start to grow some of it emergent, which means up in the air, you know, so we're talking about aquaponics, hydroponics, little pots, water below, growing up in the air. I'm going to be doing some of that once I have enough stems of it, and I'm going to see if that will really encourage its growth, because I've noticed that in the past with certain plants that are difficult to propagate and grow, bringing them up emergent into the air is almost always an opportunity for it to flourish and grow super crazy. So I'm going to keep doing that and see what goes on. I wonder if anybody else out there has had experience like this with this plant. Let me know in the comments if you have, if there's some information that you found, or maybe not, whatever, or maybe you just like this plant and want to find it. like I said, there was the one place on Etsy. If you go check out the Etsy video, I think there's 2 of them now. You can find the seller through that video. I'm not going to post it onto this one because that's not really what this video is about. But as you guys know, I've been growing a lot of Ludwigia types for the years. I have tons of different types of Ludwigia, and it's a very enjoyable plant. Most of the varietals, I would say, are a beginner type plant that you could pretty much add to whatever substrate. You know, you could have pink gravel and probably grow this plant in a lot of people's aquariums with a little fertilizer and some decent light. You probably don't even need CO2 for most of the Ludwigia varietals, but I do recommend it. And one of the reasons for that, you get that real red coloration, a little bit, you know, definitely faster growth, that's for sure. But if you want to get some good color to the leaves and things like that, CO2 is going to be an option that you'd probably want to look at. Hey, if you guys like videos about plants and stuff like that, and aquariums and stuff, it's the main thing I do on this channel. Hit the join button, hit the subscribe button, go to Patreon, do all that kind of stuff. If you want to help support a small channel like mine, I much appreciate it. If you don't, you could always just subscribe and like the video for free. And I know you all on quarantine, so take an extra 20 seconds and share this video out or some other video out with the world. Because they're all at their house too, like me. Wondering if the baby's still sleeping. Later.